All right. So week 6 in CIT85, HTML and CSS. This week we have another CSS code along, two of my favorite topics this week, and your first step in your projects. Now, these projects, unlike what we did with the group work was more of like a playground, like go play. Go kind of see how these different, first the HTML, the CSS, of course, again, it's like HTML, CSS, right? How do we just kind of play around with them? How do they show up in the page? How do we style things? How do we make it look a particular way? But now in the project for this course, right, which is, and I was thinking about this earlier, right, so you're going to have, like, here's part 1, and then week 7 you'll have part 2 and part 3, and then in the final week of the semester we'll bring them back and we'll show each other and do some reviews at that point, right? But one of the things I want to make sure, like, you understand the importance of this in your overall grade, as because of the weight that it holds, right? It's important to understand, and I laid this out. This is 40%, like all of this together accounts, like all the work we've been doing up until now is 60% of your grade, all the group work, all the code along. So 40% of your grade is going to come from 4 items, okay? Part 1, part 2, part 3, and the final part. So that's 10% of your grade comes from the work that you're starting this week. So each one of these is 10% of your grade. So just understand that, okay? So now, rolling back down to here, I had some notes on attendance, but I realized I'd actually covered this one already in the video for the code along, so check that out. The one thing I haven't even mentioned, and I feel somewhat neglectful that I haven't, is we're watching this content from Dave. As it's freely distributed from a wonderful website called Free Code Camp. And if you don't know of Free Code Camp, Free Code Camp is really the people that run it. There's all kinds of content on it. It's really grown over the years. I've really seen it grow a lot. It is another wonderful way to learn so many different coding technologies, approaches, and they have project sites to help you organize projects. There's just so much since 2014. So what happened is Dave was asked by Free Code Camp, hey, would you, because they knew that he had an HTML and CSS course, so they distributed it for Dave because Free Code Camp is so well known. Right? But also, you can thank Dave too. You can go to his page. He actually has a thing where you can buy Dave a cup of coffee. I'm not saying you have to. Just think about it, right? Just think about the amount of effort he put into this. And of course, there's a benefit he gets. There's no doubt. You can look at the number. Matter of fact, I'm sure Free Code Camp has some benefits because after you get so many views on YouTube, of course, you can monetize it. There's no ads in here, which is awesome, but there's also just some amount of activity that can garner money as well. But it's worth thanking Dave. I know I'm going to, because I very much appreciate this content being made freely available. It's like basically a free textbook, which is awesome, taught by somebody who clearly really knows his stuff. So anyway, thank Dave. Okay, so this week, beside your code along, as I've already mentioned with the percentage, you're doing your first step in your project, and I just finished the recording of the video for that, so you can check that out. But one of the things at the beginning of the week I want to say is creating images, and I'm recommending you use there's many tools now out there to create images using AI, because you're going to be using, I'm guessing I did, to create the content for the site that I'm building. I used ChatGPT to do it. I also modified it. I also sourced from a few other places, mostly just collaborated. It took what it gave me and I modified it a little bit. But when it comes to images, I definitely just want to suggest you go to bing.com/create And do this today. Don't wait, because I'm noticing the more I'm using it, the more credits I get to use it. You don't have to pay, but this is again where we learn to write prompts. And I talk about this more in the project side, but just play around for today. Just if you haven't already, right? If you have been doing it already, maybe put a image here. You can drop it into the discussion showing one you've created. Just by prompting, right? And just have fun with this, because again, this is our future, is learning how to prompt, interact with AI to get the kind of content, whether that be images, videos, sound, basic content, text content that we want. And so that's why I'm excited for the way this project is coming together, because it's going to lean you in, if you haven't already, into using these tools that will definitely impact your future. Okay, so FYI about that. But you'll hear me talk about this in detail in the project video. But I wanted you today, because what I'm noticing, and I'm going to say this again, is that the more I was using this, the more credits I got, so that it wouldn't, if I used at the very beginning when I first started using it, I could only do a couple, but I noticed as I played with it, it gave me more, which, there's a thinking behind that. But for our project, it'd be nice to have some credits built up, so that when you're actually going to create these images, you have a little more on there. Okay, so that's the big thing I wanted to say this week. Like I said, we are in week 6, 7, 8. We're really at this point 3 weeks away from the end. You can see this class goes all the way through week 18, which is the final week of the semester. That final project will be the project final will be taking the last steps we do to our sites after step 3, doing a little more work, and then sharing it with everybody in class. All right, have fun with this week, and I will talk to you soon.